Hello and welcome again everyone to another video, and in today's video the fifth attempt of recording this video because I had lots of food and I felt sleepy, and every time I record the video I just keep yawning, and I'm like, okay, maybe I can record it in 1 hour. But yeah, I think this is the last time I'm gonna try to record this video. And today's video is about Ultra League Premier Classic. My name is Yasser Ali. I'm a Twitch streamer. I stream on Twitch every day, almost 3 p.m. Central Time, or during the weekend at twitch.tv/YasserAli. Same time, 3 p.m. Central Time or 4 p.m. Central Time. Now I'm pushing it because of World Cup, because I'm watching World Cup. But the teams I'm cheering for, all of them are out. And the teams, okay. Ultra League Premier Classic, basically it's Ultra League format, no legendaries and no excels. I divide this league into 3 different categories: leads, safe swaps, generalists. The leads, Pokemon that do well versus most of the spammy Pokemons. They have good closing potential, fast move pressure, and a baiting move. You could also lead something that's just very spammy. As an example, Como hits hard from the fast move, has a good baiting move, Dragon Claw, and has a good nuking potential from the close combat. Same for Dragonite. Dragonite is slightly favorable because Superpower does the needed damage whenever you need a fighting move, but Como is slightly bulkier. So that's like the difference. Machamp is just a hard-hitting fast move / decent coverage Pokemon. Yes, it's too frail. Unless you get like a Gliscor to the face or a Trevenant, you should grab a shield from anything, basically. Nidoqueen is slightly being pushed out of the meta, and Crobat is going to be used more in the meta because Crobat now is the favorable poison, and it's part of the main core in the meta, which is Crobat with Obstagoon. And it's like the most annoying core because one Pokemon will keep debuffing you, the other Pokemon will keep trying to boost on you, and if one of them gets then the good alignment, they pretty much just snowball you until the rest of the game. Safe swaps, I mean, we have Empoleon, Lapras, Snorlax, Gallade, Kendra. Those 5 have been like the safest swaps ever since they came up with this cup. Like anytime Ultra League Premier Classic, there is like 5 Pokemon that are solid in the swap: Empoleon, Gallade, Lapras, Snorlax, and Kendra. And there is a Charizard, which is a recently buffed Pokemon. Charizard was like slightly underwhelming before. Some people might say like, no, Charizard was good. No, it was slightly underwhelming. It doesn't do enough damage from fast move / charge move, and it was a bit slow. So now with the buff to the wing attack, Charizard can spam, can threaten, can throw charge move by doing one less fast move. That's huge. Which means now if Charizard has an energy lead but says anything, you could beat even your hard assets that aren't rock typing. Well, let's see. Is anyone gonna run Crustle? I think I will be doing. I will be doing Crustle. Generalists are like mainly Pokemons that are good everywhere. They don't care about what you have, as long as they don't get Omega RPS. These Pokemons have decent coverage, spammy charge moves, combined with bulk. One of these Pokemon is Poliwrath, Gliscor. I mean, Gliscor gets RPS by ice, so let's just put it here as like beside Escaf. 2 decent Pokemons, but that can belong to many categories. Sylveon, because it does well versus the most of the stuff that are meta, and people were running quick attack Sylveon. So technically the nerf to Charm didn't hurt Sylveon. Swampert, I believe Swampert is going to be the best Pokemon because everyone is going to be using Charizard, okay? And some people will be running Crustle to counter the Charizard, and the only Pokemon that can beat both, it is Swampert. Trevenant is a Pokemon that just destroys Swampert and Venusaur, which used to be like 2 of the main cores: Swampert, Sylveon, and Venusaur, and Machamp. Yeah, Trevenant just destroyed them. Now, moving into the anti-meta Pokemons. To be honest, Steelix could be meta. I have it as an anti-meta because technically you need a Shadow and a Hundo to be like decent. So it's not as easy to get it, so I'm not expecting anyone to run it, but some people will be running it. Those people who are lucky enough to have a Shadow Hundo Steelix or like a decent enough Steelix will be running it. Magnezone is a Pokemon that can provide decent, solid damage from charge move. Has a decent typing, so as long as you don't get a ground Pokemon to the face, you pretty much can always get a shield advantage. Crustle, I have it as like in a big picture here because I used it last season and I liked it because it used to beat Trevenant and the 2 shield. You beat the Flyets, you pretty much only lose to Swampert. But now, the Charizard buff and the Wing Attack buff, then we're gonna see lots of Flyets, and Crustle is the ultimate answer to the Flyets. Gyarados is just a water Pokemon that beats the dragons with the Dragon Breath and Swampert. Heracross is a fighter that can beat other fighters. Selfridge is a fighter that beats the water. Amok, I mean, I want to delete Amok from the meta, but there is someone, aka Wholesome Discord, from the Wholesome Discord stream, always run Amok, and lots of people still use his team, so it has a decent spot in the meta because of that. Do I believe that Amok is the greatest? I prefer Kantomuk if it's Shadow. If you have a Shadow Kantomuk, I like that more. But to be honest, it's a solid Pokemon. People still use it. People still doing like climbing, lots of MMR with that Pokemon. Toxicroak is like, it's the fighter that beats other fighters. And Grass. Because Venusaur beats Machamp while Toxicroak can beat Venusaur. Primarina is a Charmer. Okay, Primarina is there if you don't have a Sylveon. What about Blaziken? Blaziken was part of a team that was popularized by Alpha Phoebe called Triple Fire. We'll be talking about it later. And this team is good because it has like sky high attack. So whenever opponent doesn't shield once, they pretty much get farmed all the way down. Licky, I have a Hundo Lucky. So it's there just because I have it and I will use it because every time I try to use this Pokemon, I lose. And I will keep trying until I win with it, okay? Some spicy Pokemons that you can use. Hippowdon, Milotic is good. I like it. Flygon, don't try it. Gengar, I wouldn't use it. I mean, it's fine to use it. Electivire, if you Pogodoms, I guess you can use it. Shadow Flygon is even worse. Why do I have 2 Shadow Flygons? Yo, one is Legacy, one is not. Incineroar, it has double kick now, so it got a buff. Jellicent, it's level 40, so it's like gonna be like 23, 20 something CP. This guy here is just like a worse version of Crustle. Magmortar is just bad. So now we talk about the Pokemon, let's talk about the meta. And from last season, the best team was, according to PvPoke and Go Battle Log, was Crobat, Obstagoon, and Walrein. I believe Walrein will be used slightly less and Swampert will be used slightly more. This team used to lack the answer to Crustle and Poliwrath, but with Swampert, you're slightly better now. You still have to land the EQ versus the Poliwrath, but people don't use Poliwrath that much, so it's not the end of the world. So I'm expecting, so this is the best team from last season. I'm expecting this to be the best team this season. So basically, Trevenant double Flyers, you safe swap Charizard. Why? Because no one has Rock in the back. Okay? No one has Rock Pokemon in the back. And then if you bait out the Ice with a Charizard, you can get pretty low where Trevenant can farm it down, and then Gliscor can sweep the back. This team is weak to Ampharos, because Ampharos now has Brutal Swing, which beats a Trevenant. So if you want to be like... If you want to 5-head everyone and like be like 500 IQ day 1 of this cup, run Ampharos. Because I didn't include it in any of the teams. So this is the team that I'm expecting to be the best. This is the team that was the best. And this is the team that PvPoke is saying might be the best. Heracross, Amok, with either the Swampert or Walrein. There is another version, another team, that if you go like build a team using Charizard, PvPoke will suggest Aurora, Amora. No, Auroras is not this thing. No, Amora is like the second evolution, right? This is Auroras, this is the third evolution. If I am correct me in the comment section below if I am wrong. This Pokemon, which I believe this is the shiny version, okay? So don't be like, I've never seen this Pokemon. No, this is the shiny version. So you have to find the non-shiny and then you find the name. So yeah, PvPoke would suggest the Trevenant as like the anti-ground, anti-water, and those are kind of weak to water in the back, but they beat everything else. So Trevenant is the ultimate cover to them. So this is the teams that PvPoke and Go Battlelog are suggesting, expecting to be the best. But the team that I think will be the best is this: Charizard, Lapras, and Trevenant. Yes, you just said that Ampharos beats most of the teams. Yes, that's why you should be running Ampharos. So yeah, do I have a team? Maybe you need to stick around and watch the video. We'll be talking about some interesting teams. But to be honest, yes, it's weak to Ampharos. And if you see Ampharos in your games, don't run Lapras, run Swampert. Why? Because Swampert beats Ampharos. That's it. And Trevenant is fine. It's not a bad matchup. So I'm expecting this team. I'm going to be running this team. Why? Because I have a shiny rank 5 Ultra League Charizard. I have a Trevenant and I don't have a Lapras yet because my Lapras is XL and I can't use XL in this cup. Luckily, this is going to be like the last week that we will ever play this cup because Niantic said there is no more non-XL cups. I'm glad this cup is leaving. Hopefully, Master League Premier Classic leave as well. But the sad part is that they are never going to bring Master League Master League Classic, sorry. So now, how to build an anti-meta Pokemon, anti-meta team. You see, like, Trevenant is meta. Most of these Pokemons here are kind of good versus the meta. Kantomuk. Kantomuk has to be Shadow. Non-Shadow is fine, but it's much better if you have a Shadow. Lapras is decent. Ampharos is probably going to be like the surprising Pokemon that everyone was going to be weak to and everyone's just going to get RPS'd by. So I recommend trying Ampharos day one. I also recommend every team I mentioned, by the way. So don't be like, Yasiri just recommended this team and I went negative. Because I'm expecting my chat. I mean, if you are in if you are around my Twitch stream, you would know why do I always say my chat is going to do this. Because my chat just loves trolling me, dude. So yeah, choose the 3 of those 6 Pokemons and you get an anti-meta Pokemon. Now moving into some popular teams that used to be popular in the back and still have decent potential to still be good in the meta. The first team is by Jumbling Lemur. He hit number 1 with this team. Sylveon, Swampert, Shadow Walrein. And don't use the non-Shadow Walrein because after the nerf, the non-Shadow Walrein is just straight bad. While the Shadow Walrein is just still good enough. Swampert is the most annoying Pokemon. Give Swampert energy lead and nothing can catch up with it. Unless it's like Trevenant something. Another team that was popular, I call it Tho's win streak because he went with like a 16 win streak with this team. I like this team because he likes Typhlosion. I don't know what he sees in Typhlosion. I think Typhlosion is just a straight trash Pokemon, not gonna lie. I will never use Typhlosion until they give it a baiting move. I have standards. My standards to run a Pokemon is that a Pokemon that has decent fast move pressure, decent charge move pressure, and a baiting move. It has decent fast move pressure, it has a decent charge move pressure, but doesn't have a baiting move. He has Kantomuk, which is one of my favorite Pokemons in this cup, but I prefer the Shadow. I think he had the same point and he said that Shadow is better. And he ran it either with Machamp or Poliwrath. What's Poliwrath good at? Poliwrath is a spammy Pokemon, is good at getting shields down. And Typhlosion just nukes everything. Another team that has been popular and is always going to be popular, the Wholesome _ team from the Wholesome _ stream. This team is genuinely only weak to Toxicroak, and this team is the reason why you would see more Toxicroaks in your games. Why? Because it's the only Pokemon that beats those 3 Pokemons. And to be honest, I have seen Wholesome beating Toxicroak a million times, but I've never seen Crimson beating Toxicroak with this team, or Rapidash, or Gramble, or like Toxicroak, or like Heracross. I've never even seen him beating Sirfetch'd, dude. I've never seen him beating Donphan. Why? Some people might say because he never queued into Donphan. I've never seen him beating Donphan, period, okay? Have you ever seen him beating Donphan with this team? I've never. Nidoqueen. Literally every time he queued into Nido Queen, he would top left. Wholesome, never top left. Always fight until there is no way to win the game. That's why you should check his live stream at twitch.tv/wholesome_. What about Crimson? I'm not gonna recommend his stream. He doesn't give me a shout out. Some teams that were used, and I found them like on Go Battle Log: Swampert, Snorlax, Blaziken. You could use this team. And this team has been also popular since day one of this cup. The triple starters: Charizard with Venusaur and Swampert. But this team has always been underwhelming because those three Pokemons required shields, so you need to replace one of them. So you always replace a Swampert with one of the ice Pokemons, that's like Lapras. And then last season, people were smart enough to replace Lapras with Walrein because Walrein is just a straight much better. So this team, Swampert, here you replace the Swampert or the Venusaur with a Walrein because you need an ice Pokemon. This is another team that also was popular, Machamp with Walrein, Trevenant. What's the concept behind this team? I mean, Machamp only loses to Nidoqueen and Flyets, and those two do well versus Nidoqueen and the Flyets. This team, I don't know about this team or this team. This team Gyarados, this triple water. Don't run this team because Ampharos is just gonna sweep. Now moving to an anti-meta teams, and there is one team I want to talk specifically about is like the Triple Fire by Alpha Phoebe. This is a very creative team. It's a triple weak to Swampert, but to be honest, he wins versus the Swamperts most of the time. Why? Because the Swampert always has a Trevenant in the back, and Trevenant has nowhere to go versus this team. Yes, the Swampert's going to be able to beat half of your team, but half of their team will be useless against your team. Like, what do people run with the Swampert, Trevenant, and Walrein? And you have 3 fire Pokemons here, so technically, Swampert has to beat all the 3 Pokemons that you have, while you only need to beat one of the Pokemons in their team. Another team that was popularized also by Wholesome. This is his second team. He only have 2 teams. That's it. And those are the teams. He plays them in every league. Mach Double Fighters. The thing about this team is that Amok is just a neutral Pokemon that can beat everything except the Swampert. So Sirfetch'd beats a Swampert. Machamp is fine versus Swampert. Sirfetch'd has a decent coverage where it's able to either grab shields always or flip swap if needed. And another team that was popularized by Softof, twitch.tv/Softof. She's my teammate, one of the best players in the world by far. And she used to play this core before. Gliscor Charizard with like whatever is popular in the meta. So she used to use Shadow Walrein. I think the core itself now, Gliscor with Walrein, is too good. So you replace the third with either a Trevenant or anything that beats a Charizard and Swampert, and you get a good team. Okay. What beats a Charizard and Swampert? You can use Melodic, actually. Yeah, you can use Melodic. You can still keep the S-Cap. And the last team I will be talking about, it's a team that I call RPS Backline. I use this team. You can find a video about this team probably like somewhere in the channel. Crustle in the Ultra League Premier Classic. And the concept behind this team is that Crustle only loses to Swampert and beat everything else, I guess. I think, yeah, you lose to Machamp, but the Machamp isn't a bad matchup because Machamp is just very frail. Crustle is much bulkier. Amok, like, people use, I think that when I made this team, people were running Walrein, and you have Shadow Mach, which beats Walrein because you have Thunder Punch, and this thing, which destroys Walrein. Trevenant is a neutral. The thing that beats the entire team is basically, like, the worst matchup, I think, used to be Empoleon because technically it beats 2. Other than that, I don't call anything else. If you have no skills and you need a team to use, you can run Charizard Double Charm or Trevenant Double Charm. Yeah, 0 skills. You don't need anything other than just tapping your screen. And this is the end of the video. Thank you so much everyone for watching. If you're new to the channel, make sure to subscribe because 80% of my viewers are non-subs. So please consider subscribing. It's free, it doesn't cost you anything, but it helps my channel to grow so other people can get to watch the content. And I get to be more, what do you call it? I get to be more responsible with uploads, so I can, be more like, I can post more educational content. And yeah, if you like the video, please leave a like, maybe to the channel, make sure to subscribe, And if you have any question regarding any of these teams, leave in the comment section below and I'll be glad to answer this at the end of the video. See you in the next one. Peace.